up guys, this is your boy 6 Sam coming at you from 6 Reviews. So lately a lot of people have been direct messaging me and DMing me, that's a hard word to say, DMing me on Instagram and asking me how you resell sneakers. And I'm here to tell you guys it's not that easy, but there are some tips that you want to take into account when selling or reselling your sneakers. But before we get into that, you guys know what time it is. It's a quick OOTD, and on top here I got a fresh haircut from Studio 6. My boy Eddie did it up. He does it right all the time. So if you guys want to check out Studio 6, it's at Jane & Steele's. Again, they're not paying me to do this, but I want to give a shout out to people that do a good job, and Studio 6, they do a good job. And then for my sweater, I have a Nike Tech Fleece CREWNECK sweater. I actually picked this up at a Nike outlet, super cheap. I got it for way below retail, so I couldn't pass it up. And for my pants, I have Black Public joggers. This isn't a video whether you hate resellers or that you are a reseller. These are just tips that if you want to sell your shoes, knowing a few things before you start selling shoes, it's definitely easier to start selling them rather than just jumping in the game and not knowing anything. The first step that I'll tell you guys is that make sure you take good pictures of your shoes. You gotta make your product appealing. If I'm trying to sell this sweater to you and it's all like wrinkled up and all crinkly on the ground and I take a picture of that, no one's gonna want it. But if you take a picture of the shoe that looks appealing, it makes the buyer want it. Sometimes when you take a nice picture of a shoe, people don't even realize that they want the shoe until they see the picture of the shoe. This isn't saying that you need to use a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera. That's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is that if you have like a good iPhone, you guys can take great pictures of your shoes. So a consistent background and consistent angles with good lighting, it makes the buyer feel a little bit more comfortable because it feels like less of a scam when you're as organized, and then you can build your reputation. And that's my part 2. You need to build your reputation. There are Facebook groups. In Toronto, we have Toronto Shoe Game, and then there's TSN, and in Vancouver, there's Vancouver Sneakerhead Group or something like that, VSG. There's a ton of groups that you guys can actually join, and once you start building a reputation, it gets easier to start selling shoes because they know that you're not going to be selling anything fake. If you guys look on the internet right now, there's so many fake Yeezys, there's so many fake Jordans out there, it's ridiculous. So if you start building a reputation, people are more inclined to work with you, or people are more inclined to buy from you than they would through Kijiji, our Canadian Craigslist, and for you Americans, than you would for Craigslist. The people on the group know, and then if you build a reputation, you will be known as someone that sells authentic shoes and also not at ridiculous prices. That's my third thing. The third thing that you want to look for is making sure that you're selling your shoe at a reasonable price. Guys, let's just be honest, lowballers just exist, and they, no matter how nice of a shoe and no matter how much of a steal or price you want to give it to them, they'll still lowball you. You can't avoid that, but give the people a reasonable price. I'm not gonna go and ask for my very near DS black toe ones, and I'm not gonna be asking for $1,000 for these shoes. That's just ridiculous. And people will just try to find that one person that's willing to spend that much, but find a reasonable price that you will be willing to sell it. This black toe one, a reasonable price that I can sell it at is nothing, because I actually don't want to resell the shoe, and I don't know the market price of the shoe, but I'm assuming that I can get around $400 for this black toe one. Very near DS. I'm not going to be asking for $800 because that's ridiculous. So if you're trying to resell your shoes, but most times if you want to be consistently reselling, give your clientele, and yeah, I know it's real when you say clientele, but give the people that buy your shoes a reasonable price so that they won't feel like they're getting screwed over if they're buying the shoes off of you. And last thing I'll say about reselling shoes is, to be honest, with the sneaker game going crazy as it is right now, you need to have a sneaker plug or a way to get the shoes for retail so that you can flip it for more. With all the crazy GRs that Jordan are giving out, you would think that resell game would be dead. It's still there a little bit, but not nearly as much as it was before. So now the resell game still does exist, especially with the Yeezys, the Jordan models, and a new one that they do have is the NMDs. That the resale market on the NMDs, it just blew up all of a sudden. I don't even know where it came from. If you want to be consistent in the resale game, you need a plug. And shout out to my plug. You know who you are, thank you very much. You'll need a plug to make sure that you'll be able to get your pair and also multiple pairs in order to resell, and that plug is not easy to come by because most people that work in the sneaker business, and especially boutiques, they already have their people and they're not looking for new plugs. And I'm not the biggest reseller, I like to keep some of my kicks, but some of my kicks I do like to resell because it is an expensive hobby. So in the comment section below, tell me your thoughts on resellers. People hate it because they say they ruin the game, but then people just say that the game's adjusting and you gotta resell to stay in the game. I think Ben Baller said this in one of his Complex interviews, but he said it's better that they're reselling kicks instead of drugs. So if you guys can, press that like button, press that subscribe button, follow me on Samsa TRD. This is your boy 6 Sam coming at you from 6 Reviews. We out.